welcome back. So today I'm bringing you guys a story time video. You guys know I've done story times in the past a lot, and I haven't done one in a pretty long time. I think it's been like 6 months or something like that. But today I'm bringing you guys another story time. Like 6 months ago, I made a party story time, and I asked you guys in that video if you guys wanted to see a part 2. All of you guys said to film a part 2, so here I am 6 months later. If you guys haven't watched part 1 of this story time, make sure you guys go check that out. That way this video can make sense. So if you haven't watched it, click off right now, go watch it. I'm gonna have a link in the description box below so you guys can go ahead and check that out and then come back to this video and watch this. So in my last story time about this, I talked about this guy that wouldn't leave me and my friend Jessica alone. I've talked about Jessica in a few of my story times. She's my friend that like I used to go to parties with and stuff, and she's like my party friend and stuff. Like I said, we're friends outside of like parties, but she's my main bitch that I used to go to parties with. So we're gonna call her Jessica once again. And like I said in my last video about this, I talked about that guy that wouldn't leave us alone, and I told you guys that the party ended up getting shot up and I ended up getting stranded and stuff. So basically I'm going to tell you guys in this video about how I ended up getting stranded by myself and everything like that. So as you guys know, if you guys have watched my last video, when we go to parties, we don't go to like hook up with guys. We don't go like when we used to go to, well, I haven't gone to a party in like a super long time. I don't really plan on going to parties anymore. It's not really my thing anymore. But when I used to go to parties, I never went like to go like find guys or like hook up with guys or anything, like nothing like that. Like that was never the type of person I am or like the type of person I've ever been. When we used to go, we honestly just used to go to get drunk and stuff, and I don't promote underage drinking or like condone it, but I mean, you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do, you know. I'm not saying I'm perfect because I've obviously made hella mistakes and I'm probably gonna continue making mistakes, but I don't condone underage drinking. But you know, do whatever you want to do. It's your body, you're your own person, so you can do whatever you want to do. So all of you guys that are gonna judge me in the comments for drinking underage, like honestly, it's my body and I can do whatever I'm gonna do. And even if you give me a like whole lecture about it and stuff, like I'm still gonna continue to do what I want to do. But aside from all of that, like I said, this one guy wouldn't leave us alone. Like he literally would not leave us alone. And once again, we wouldn't go to parties for guys and stuff. We actually had a rule that we came together and we leave together, you know. That was just the thing. It was just the rule. We would just kind of go to get drunk and dance and stuff. So my friend ended up like finding this guy at the party, and I remember I saw her talking to him, and obviously I'm not gonna be like, Jessica, like what the fuck, don't talk to him, like remember, no guys. Like obviously like she's gonna do whatever she wants to do, you know. So I remember I saw her talking to this guy, so I went and I found other people and I was like dancing with these girls and stuff, and you know, just having a good time. And a fun fact, now her and that guy have been dating for like over a year and stuff, and like it's freaking crazy to think about that it's been so long since like we went to that party and stuff, and I literally haven't been to a party in literally so freaking long. But yeah, so I was just having fun, having a good time, dancing, like, you know, just having fun. And then this party went on for a pretty long time before it got shot down and stuff. I remember it was like 3 or close to 4 o'clock in the morning, and I remember, even though I was drunk, I remember thinking, oh shit, like this party's gonna end soon, like I need to go find Jessica, you know, because I didn't want to be left alone or stranded or anything, even though I ended up getting stranded by myself in like freaking Tempe or Phoenix, or I don't even know where the hell this, yeah, I was probably in like Tempe because that's where all the parties that we used to go to were at. I remember thinking to myself, I need to go find Jessica, this party's gonna be over soon, I don't want to get stranded. So I went and I tried to find her and stuff, and I literally couldn't find her in the entire freaking house. And so I remember going outside. I walked outside of the house, and the second that I walked out, this guy grabbed me by my wrist, and he was just like, oh, like come with me. And then I was like no, like get off of me, like leave me alone. Like even though I was drunk, I still like knew what was going on. And then his other friend grabbed my other wrist, and he's like, come on, like let's go. And like they were like trying to like put me in their freaking car, yo. And I was just like, I was like no, like get off of me. And like they were like literally like freaking like luring me to their freaking car. And I remember this super pretty girl comes up, and I think she saw like that they were like trying to like put me in their car or something. And then I remember I kept telling them, I was like no, like yeah, like I'm not stupid. And then because they were telling me, I was like, I need to find Jessica, like where's Jessica, I need to find Jessica. And then they were like, Jessica's in the car. Like I remember they were trying to whisper because I think they didn't want other people to hear, and they were like, oh, like Jessica's in the car, get in the car. And like one of them was like calling me babies, like babe, get in the car. And I was like I'm not your babe, like get off of me, I'm not stupid, Jessica's not in there. And then like I remember I could barely keep my eyes open, and then this one girl, like that super pretty girl, comes and she grabs my wrist like from the guys, said something like, she's like, oh, like she's not going with you guys, blah blah blah. And then so she took me with her, like she took me away from those guys, and those guys were just kind of like whatever. And then she ends up taking me to her car. So either way, I ended up in a stranger's car. She ended up taking me to her car, and then I remember she put me in the back seat, and then there was 2 other girls sitting next to me, and they were super super pretty too. And I remember they were like petting my face. They were like, oh, you're so pretty, or so. I was like, thank you, like so are you, la 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 la. And then there was 2 guys sitting in the front seat, and then the girl was like driving, but like the 2 guys were sitting on the same seat. And I remember like the guys, like everybody was being super super nice. All the girls were being super super nice, but the guys were being like kind of rude and like saying like really nasty things. Like I remember one of the guys was like, oh, like let me put my in her mouth, and I was like I remember like I was just like laying there like this, like I was literally like sitting in the seat like this, and I remember just sitting there and I could hear him say that, and I was just like I remember thinking, I was like, should I move, should I run, what do I do? I was just talking to the girls and stuff, and then I remember we were about to get back off to the party, and then you hear boom boom boom, like you hear hella gunshots, and we were like, and then as soon as like I was about to get off, and then like one of the girls grabbed me and she like put me back in the car, because I'm pretty sure that they didn't want me to get shot or anything. And then I remember, oh, also another thing, I remember one of the guys like slapped me, like one of the guys from the front, like he didn't like, oh, like bam, but like he was just like that, you know, because I remember like the next day, this guy that I knew, the guy that had invited us to the party, he was just like, oh, like he's just like, what the heck happened? And I was like, dude, I don't know. He was like, yo, that guy slapped you. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he sends me this Snapchat video where I'm literally like laying like this on the fucking car. Like I remember laying like that, but I don't remember the guy like slapping me like that. Like I don't remember anything like that. But anyways, then after they like pulled me back into the car after we heard the gunshots, then we drove off quick as hell. Like we drove off so quick, and then they pulled up to a different party, and then I remember we got off at that party, and then like the party got shut down or something, so then we left. And then by this time it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then they didn't know what to do with me. They didn't know my name, they didn't know anything about me. Like I didn't know where the hell I was. And I remember I kept calling Jessica, and I was like, dude, where are you, because I was just like freaking out, because I was like with all these strangers, and I had no idea where the hell I was at or how the hell I was gonna get home, and like my parents were gonna beat my ass. And I remember Jessica was being a bitch, yo. Like she was being a bitch. Like she says to this day that she wasn't ignoring me, but she was fucking ignoring me because she was with that guy. And so I guess like when the party got shot up, she like left with that guy, and then like she ended up staying the night with him or whatever. But what pissed me off about that is that I kept texting her, because I needed her, you know, and like she like was literally ignoring me because like she didn't, I don't know, that pissed me off. Guys from the front seat kept saying like really gross stuff, and like they kept being really dirty, and like it was just like making me feel super uncomfortable. And then like one of the super pretty girls was like, what's your name, and I told her my name. And then I remember somehow they took my phone, and they were like looking, I guess, like on all my contacts and stuff to see who they could call to come and pick me up. And I'm surprised, I'm so glad they didn't call my parents or something, but like why the fuck would they call my parents? Anyways, they ended up calling this one really close friend of mine. I'm gonna say his name just because like I don't think he's gonna care, but his name's Danny. He's like a big brother to me. And they ended up calling him, and they were like, oh, do you know who Lizette is? Do you know Lizette? And he was like, yeah. And like Danny's one of those friends that like he will like come through for anything. Like he legit has my back for anything, and like I know that he does. Like he's had my back for like so many things that have happened to me, and like I just fucking love Danny. But it's Danny and his older brother Jose. Like they're really really close to me, and like, well, we don't talk that often anymore, but like they're like big brothers to me, and like they've been there for like a lot of shit. Like they're those type of people that, you know, they have your back, and you know that they're never gonna switch up. And yeah, they're just like freaking awesome. So I remember they called Danny, and Danny was like, yeah, and it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then they live kind of far from like Tempe or wherever the hell that I was at, but they live pretty far from there. And then the second that they called them, they were telling me that they were like literally like speeding, like they were like going like 100 to come and freaking save me and stuff, because what in their minds what they thought is that like something had happened to me, or they thought that like I was like with some random people, which I was with some random people, but they thought that they were like trying to do something to me or something. So like they were like trying to get to me fast as fuck, and we were like parked in front of a Federico's. Danny, this guy Steven, and one of my really close friends Brianna, and all 3 of them pulled up to like the Federico's that we were at. And then they got off, and I remember they got off like all pissed because they thought that something happened, and they were like ready to scrap for me and shit. And then before I left, I remember I hugged the girls, and I was like, thank you guys for saving me from the guns. and like I was just like tripping, yo. And then I remember they left, and then Danny and Brianna and then like took me, and like I was just, and they were like, oh, like dude, what happened? And I was like my freaking friend left me, Jessica left me, like oh my god, and I was pissed as fuck at her. Like I have to pee, and then like we got to the Federicos, and then Brianna and Danny put me inside the Federicos, and then they were like, oh, do you guys have a restroom? And the guy from Federicos was rude. He was like, oh, you guys can't use it unless you're gonna buy something. And I was just like, oh my god, please let me use your restroom. Like if I don't use the restroom, I'm gonna pee on your floor. I think the guy got annoyed at me or something because he gave them like the key to go in the bathroom or something. And I remember Brianna took me in there, and like she went like in the restroom with me while I peed and stuff. And then after that, like we were like driving home or whatever because we were going to their neighborhood for like a little bit, and then we went there. This was back when I worked at Subway, and I had a meeting at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was already like 6 something, and then I was like, dude, I have a meeting. And I was kind of like sobering up now. By this time I was kind of sobering up, but I was still kind of like a little bit buzzed. And then they like drove super fast to Subway because it was from Glendale. They live in Glendale. Oh, I don't know if I should say that, but they live in Glendale. Obviously I'm not saying exactly where, but they live in Glendale, and my meeting was in Surprise because that's where I worked, because I lived in Surprise at the time. I remember we got to my meeting like literally like 6:50 something, and my meeting started at 7, and I walked in there, and like I remember my manager was super chill, and I was wearing like this like little black crop top and like little like white shorts, and like I remember like my hair was a mess and stuff. And then I walked in, and I literally just sat in the chair, and I was like, and I was like signing this paper to like make sure that it was like an attendance paper or something. The meeting started and Jessica wasn't there yet, and I remember like I said I was still kind of buzzed, so I was like laughing at everything. And then Jessica got there, and then like when she walked in, I was just like, oh, like okay, like it's you. And like I gave her a dirty look or something. I said something, and then I was just like, the effing chicken wing, because like this guy had walked into Subway like the week before that and stuff, and like he like dropped the chicken wing on the ground and like let his dog eat it and stuff, but like that's a separate story. Anyways, I remember like looking at the rug, and I was like, the fucking chicken wing. I remember this time it was like the first night that I had been out of my house like the whole entire night without asking, and like my parents, my dad was pissed because usually I would sneak out back when my dad wouldn't let me go out, and now my dad lets me, like now I kind of do whatever I want, and not like, oh, I do whatever I want, you know, like obviously I'm still respectful of like my house and stuff because it's my parents' house, you know, but my parents like aren't really strict how they used to be anymore, but back then my dad used to be pretty strict still, so I used to have to sneak out if I wanted to go to parties and stuff. And it's crazy because now that I don't even want to go to parties, like if I wanted to go to parties now, I wouldn't have to sneak out, but back then when I wanted to party, I had to sneak out to freaking go to parties. And I remember after my meeting, it ended at like 8 or something like that, and then I walked home because like the Subway and my house was like really close to each other, and I walked home, and then when I got off, my dad had woken up, so he knew I had been out all night, and I was just like, fuck. And like he was still mad at me for like a while. That's pretty much it for this story. I know I've been telling you guys that I was gonna make a part 2 for this for like literally so freaking long, so leave me a comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of this video. Make sure you guys don't forget to check out my part 1 of this story, and if you're gonna leave a comment telling me how irresponsible I am and stuff, like just save it, because like it's not that I don't care, but like whatever you tell me, you can call me names and stuff, but like I'm still gonna do whatever I want to do because it's my body and it's me. It's like I'm my own person, you know. I mean, you can give like your constructive criticism, but like either way, I don't even party anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of this video. Give me a huge thumbs up if you guys did enjoy it. Like I said, I'm gonna have a link to part 1 in the description box below. Subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any of my future videos, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!